How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting, and welcome back in general. We've been back from a break. It's nice to be here. Oh, it was a good vacation, but we're here. And you've been here, if you've been watching all the other videos, of course, I've been starting the same way, but it's still good to say it. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be able to share this with you. So, we're back in Chaos Head. We're on the eternal hunt for the branching timeline. No idea what path I'm going to be on. No idea how that works, except for there's been some, like, delusional yes-no question things that have happened up till now. But what we've been doing is kind of covering anything that, I hadn't seen before as we go through. Once I have a better idea of how the choice system works, I don't think we're going to replay everything else either. So while we are exploring new things here, we're probably not going to see every single delusion or whatever. But yeah, it's going pretty good. I feel like we don't have much further we could go before we start kicking off endgame. So I'm not really sure I thought we would have seen branching off before now. So we'll just have to see. But thank you so much for being here. We're gonna jump in. So we're here. This one is another choice. I can't remember what choice I made here. I also all I know, this is like our visit to the hospital scene. There's the scene where Rimi gets slapped. Something like that should be coming up soon. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the choice will be here. It'll almost be random, but we'll see how it all plays out, and then we'll continue on from there. If I remember what the buttons are, for instance, so how do I skip? Okay, so supposedly it's E. So I used to know it, but like after a few weeks off, like some of the buttons, because the problem too with each visual novel, they're different. So sorry about that. But anyway, yes. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's do a -1 this time. He went to go right past me, but just before he did, he put his hand on my shoulder. With a sigh of exasperation, he made to leave the room. He's about to get cut in half again. Because last time we did a negative with ISA, she just absolutely murdered him. ISA had finally said something to Misumi-kun, but she'd done so with a grim expression on her face. I wasn't sure why. Oh? Huh? Nani? Oh, she said verily, she's whipping out old English. Oh no. What even? Another part of her insane storyline? Misumi-kun looks pretty annoyed at being dragged into ISA's bullcrap, a pretty justified response, to be honest. It wasn't even funny as a joke. However, ISA seemed quite serious.
Takumi.
As she called my name, ISA took out something that looked like a fruit knife from beneath the bed sheets, then threw it over to me. Surprised, I hurriedly went to catch it. While the knife fortunately had a guard on it, it still came close to cutting my hand. Excuse me, what? I know this is a delusion, but him? When Isa said that, she was looking at Misumi-kun. What kind of backcrap insane plot twist was this? But what did I held the knife out with a trembling hand?
Oi. 殺せときたか。いくらなんでも、それはひどくね?
Yeah, just a bit.
まあ、岸本に嫌われてんのは分かってたけどよ。まさか面と向かってそんなこと言われるとは思わなかったぜ。それで、なんだっけ。グラビトーン？邪神？何のことだか、俺にはさっぱりわかんねえんだけどな。たく、とりあえずナイフを置けよ。岸本の妄想に付き合うな。
Yeah.
妄想じゃないわ。匠、そいつの言葉を信じないで。
Misumi-kun's expression stiffened and he took a step away from ISA.
お前、異常だぜ。
匠、早く殺すのよ。でないとグラジオールに君
Oh,
の存在が
I also
続き
just
になってし
remembered.
まうわ。
So what's coming up is that we saw, crap. Kozupi and Senna went to our room and found the IR2 paper. So we're gonna have that confrontation soon as well. With the knife in my hand, I slowly placed it back in ISA's lap.
匠。
君の言ってることはめちゃくちゃだよ。
Aww. Aww, she looks so sad. She looked up at me with sad eyes. Doesn't matter how you look at me. How the heck you expect me to kill Misumi-kun? This has nothing to do with gladiol or whatever. Killing someone would make me a criminal, and that's not gonna happen. Simple as that.
さすが親友。お前なら俺を選ぶって信じてたぜ、タク。
Oh. Misumi-kun clapped his hand on my shoulder. And then, casually as could be, without a care in the world, he's gonna kill her. He grasped the knife on Ayase's lap.
じゃあな、電波女。
And then, without stopping even once, he removed the guard from the knife before immediately slashing outward. Dang. Blood spurted from her neck with blistering speed, some splashing against my face. It was very, very hot. Ayase's eyes were wide with shock. She was looking straight at me. Her body then slowly collapsed under the bed. The pure white sheets were stained crimson. Oh, fetch me.
やっちまったな、タク。
Oh, gosh.
今のが最後のチャンスだったんだぜ。
That was your last chance.
グラジオール復活を阻止するための。な。
That's a horrifying picture. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even scream.
正しかったのは岸本の方だったってわけだ。
As he said that, Misumi-kun got on top of Ayase's splayed-out body. Then, without even a hint of hesitation, he gouged at her. Fetch me! And yet, her body didn't move. It didn't even twitch. Misumi-kun turned toward me with a cruel smile. He murmured,
その目誰の目？
"Oh, that was horrifying." Ugh. Alright, no, we don't need more negative ones today. Ugh. I came to, Ayase, who should have been covered in blood, was simply sitting on the bed, completely unharmed. Misumi-kun was nowhere in sight. Had that been a delusion? I let out a deep sigh of relief. That definitely been a nasty one. Feeling guilty, I apologized to Ayase inside my head. But since she couldn't hear my thoughts, Ayase just went on with her schizo babbling.
すべてはお告げよ。
Okay, I think we can, yeah, skip here.
なんだ、それじゃあ必死にごまかそうとしてたのがバカみたいじゃない。
Alright, let's try a positive one. Because this is confronting her about the fight.
あなたはタクの何なのって。
Okay. What had she meant by that?
マジで？宣戦布告ってやつか。
まあ、そんなとこかな。
Rimi looked bashful. Her gaze darted back and forth between me and the ground.
タクは渡さないからって言っちゃったし。そしたら見事に叩かれたんだけどさ。
Uh-huh.
すげえ。
Ironically, I thought this was the line she was gonna go for, like when she told the initial lie. I thought this was the action she was gonna say. Well, I guess it feels too overt, so probably wouldn't have worked. But it feels like it's kind of like, because she was saying, like, don't involve him. But it kind of was the same thing if you think about it. Misumi-kun rustled my hair.
おいタク、どうすんだ？どうすんだよ？え？
What was he getting here? I didn't really understand. Actually, it was more like my mind had gone completely blank.
告られてんだぞお前。もう付き合っちまえよ。
What? Grinning, Misumi-kun suddenly shoved me forward. Caught off guard, I stumbled and Rimi was right in the line of fire. Oh boy. Classic moment? Classic anime? As per the laws of physics, I ended up with my arms around Rimi.
ごめん。
My heart was pounding. Rimi's body was soft and warm.
タク、私。
When I tried to hurry up and get off of her, Rimi wrapped her arms around my back. She nervously brought me in close, hugging me. It's so... This is nice. This is nice. Electricity ran through me at Rimi's surprise attack. In our moment of intimacy, her tender warmth transferred straight over to my body. I wanted to keep feeling that warmth. I wanted Rimi to be mine and mine alone. Taken over by these feelings, I hugged her supple body back. Alright, and as I did, the silhouette standing beyond Rimi's shoulder entered my field of vision. Uh-oh. Ayase is very scary in these delusions. I've noticed that. Is that like we've done negative delusions with some of the others before too, right? But Ayase's the one that just absolutely starts just killing people in these things. And I don't know how I feel about that. It was Ayase, D sword in hand, looking at me with an expression of bitter hatred. While I couldn't hear what it was, I could tell she was mumbling something. I gulped. War was looming. Blood would be wreaked without mercy, and the moment I realized that, I knew I had to escape as soon as possible.
おい、タク。何ぼーっとしてんだ。行くぞ。
Right. Misumi-kun was calling for me. Rimi also waved at me from beside him. Blinking in a daze, I examined my surroundings. I was definitely not embracing Rimi. Ayase was nowhere in sight.
ドキドキした。
Yeah. Yeah, I could do without the cat fights. Yandere should just stay in the realm of 2D. I don't want anything to do with someone actually like that. Amen, brother. Amen. The concept can be intriguing, but in reality, it'd just be horrifying.
タク、早く来いって。
I hurriedly chased after the two. And Yandere is basically stalking, but following through to psychotic behavior. All right, here we go. Get our froggies. All right.
あの、
What did I do here? This is right before we're about to be confronted. Did I do a neutral? I think I started just trying to strike neutrals from here on. Guess we should do a negative one. I don't like the negative ones, but we should do them.
嫌だよ。
She firmly declined. What did I say? I want you to come with me. I may request a nervous. Oh, he's saying he wanted to go back to his parents' house. Okay, yeah, he wants to go back to his parents' house, and he tries to invite her along. She says no.
私、行きたくない。
I think this is normal, though. Like, it's not skipping, but I couldn't believe my ears. I would never thought she would respond like that. Before that moment, Rimi had always listened to me, no matter how selfish I was being. She had always helped me, supported me. So I had assumed that she would agree without question, no matter what I asked her. And now that I thought about it again, I was the weird one for assuming she'd never refuse. I'd gotten too used to her taking care of me, and I was being too presumptuous, expecting too much of her.
そう。
それに、
Rimi turned her back to me, and then she wrapped her arms around herself.
それに、タクも、行かない方がいい。
Yeah.
それってどういう
We do know this is probably real. It hasn't done the wibblies yet, and we know this conversation basically does happen.
実家には戻らないで。
She spoke firmly, almost like she was ordering me not to go. I was at a loss. I had no idea why Rimi was trying to achieve by saying that. What kind of face was Rimi making if she had her back to me? I didn't know.
わけがわからない。
あなたは、何も知らなくていい。
Her voice carried a sense of urgency. She felt like a completely different person from before.
ここで、このコンテナハウスだけで、ずっと生きていけばいいの。
Dang, I understand she wants to protect him, but that's harsh.
そうしてもらわないと、困るんだ。
Okay. Won't end well. Wait, what? Was this a delusion, right? Or was it real? Suddenly, here they come. A high-pitched sound pierced my ears. One that sounded almost like a woman's scream. Oh, there we go, yeah.
少なくともあの時、
Oh boy.
あの場所では、4つの妄想がシンクロしてた。
Wait, okay, I gotta refresh again. Too strong, they merge with other people's... Okay, sometimes when Google manage delusions too strong, it merges, they synchronize. At least 4 delusions synchronized then. Okay, so she's talking about like how maybe his life and other things like synchronized. And we get to see that synchronization in the future. That's really interesting. So, okay, by the way, we skipped a lot. I had to go and do like a real quick refresher of like the Senna's horrible past with her mom in that test chamber. And yeah, God, I forgot. Though it skipped a lot. Like, we're getting to the point now because there's a lot more, as we got to this point in the story, there's a lot more plot that happens. So we're skipping more and more of it. So I really think we must be getting pretty close. But, alright, let's do a positive delusion this time. But I definitely didn't let the delusion happen, I think.
これ以上妄想しちゃダメ。
Oh, she stops it, huh? She stops it. Oh, that's kind of cool. My mind still trying to delude itself was forcibly ripped back to reality by Rimi's words. That's interesting. I didn't realize she would be like, no. Wow. Oh, here we go, another one. Maybe it was for the best that I died. There's no value of being fake alive. I was worthless. What did I do here? Because this is where he's just like, oh yeah, because they... tried to call his parents, right? And I think he tried to talk to his friend. Okay, let's do a negative one. I brought my heavy legs one step forward. In this place free of traffic lights, I staggered onto the road and had a feeling that salvation awaited me there. A glaring brightness from a pair of headlights, the deafening, discordant noise of a car horn, the unnerving sound of squealing tires. Come on, kill me. Kill this fake me, this unsightly monster. Oh, fetch. With a strong impact of my waist, my body was taken. I rolled across the hood. A sharp pain. Something hard crashed into the temporal region of my head. My vision went black. A sound of bones shattering rang throughout my skull. I was unable to breathe. It felt as though I was under water and tossed into the air. Then I fell back down. My limbs writhed in pain. I felt as if the pain was burning away my nerves like fuses. I finally die. Well, I opened my eyes. I was standing on the sidewalk. The road that I'd just been run over was right in front of me. I checked my body. There were no wounds, no blood gushing out. I didn't feel any pain either. I even thought that I had become a ghost. I wanted it to be true. But if that were the case, my corpse should have been lying in the middle of the road. Yet I saw nothing of the sort. The car that had run me over was non-existent. Had that been a delusion? I wasn't trying to get the sympathy points by showing that I wanted to die. No, I genuinely wanted to. Seeking salvation for the final time, I dove into the road. And glaring brightness from a pair of headlights, the discordant noise of car horn, the unnerving sound of squealing tires. Come on, kill me. Kill this fake me, this unsightly monster. Is he actively trying, but he keeps getting reset. Strong impact to my waist. My body was taken away, rolled across the hood. It's the same words, sharp pain. Something hard crashed into the temporal region of my head. My vision went black, the sound of bones shattering rang throughout my skull. I was unable to breathe. It felt as though I was underwater, tossed into the air, then I fell back down. My limbs writhed in pain, felt as if the pain was burning away my nerves like fuses. I can finally die. And then resets. Guys, just gone full Groundhog mode. Groundhog Day mode, by the way. When I opened my eyes to start, I was, once again, standing on the sidewalk.
Nande?
Why did I keep escaping into delusions every single time? I raised my trembling voice and almost shrieking scream and once more tumbled into the road. If it's the same text, I'm just going to skip through it. Yeah, it's the same. This time, please let me die. Nope. Nothing had changed. I was about to lose it. Did I not want to die, or was I already dead? Was this all a dream? Was my brain perceiving my very last moment extrasensorily, leaving me to see this illusion in this subconscious time frame before the end? Fetching if. Almost completely giving in to my despair, I went to walk toward the middle of the road. But my legs were shaking. They were unable to move from where I stood. The delusion of my death had repeated 3 times. The pain I'd imagined in them, all terrifying realism, overwhelmed my mind and made me terror even worse. I didn't understand. I couldn't grasp my own feelings anymore. Did I want to live or die? Which was it? I clenched my teeth, closed my eyes, and repeated to myself, I want to die. And with that, my legs finally moved forward. Even with my eyes closed, I could tell the headlights were shining on me. The sound of the horn pierced my ears. The squealing sound of tires got closer and closer with immense speed. Please just run me over. Oh my gosh! And just like that, my wish was denied. I was simply standing on the sidewalk, safe and sound. Why? I broke down crying then and there. Even though I didn't want to die, even though I wanted to be saved. Please just release me from this crappy game. Man, that was brutal. Oh, great. He's talking about, this is about Serotan? Like, yeah. Let's try not a delusion. Oh crap, that's what I did last time. Oh well. That voice. Oh, right. I know. This is the sister. Oh, no.
Ah, やっと出てきた。
Oh.
生存確認。
Routine survival check. Oh, I know you're not real, but I miss you. Like I said, in my heart of hearts, if they had this route, where it was your sister route, but it wasn't romantic in any way, it was just you two being good siblings and having a happy life together forever, that she knew about the second, like you, that like you were a duplicate, but that she still cared about you and wanted to have a relationship with you as a brother, and you got to actually have a relationship with your sister where you're like just siblings and supporting each other and just having that wholesomeness, could be the peak route. Peak route. As I opened the door, Nanami smiled and waved at me. I froze in place. She was acting way too normal, acting way too energetic. I'd seen it, a white bandage wrapped around her wrist, so why? I then remembered the phone call I'd gotten a few hours earlier, the pained voice asking me to give her right hand back. And now this smile that she had right now and the bandage around her right wrist contradicted each other. Nanami was contradicting herself. Oh, I see. She was also a delusion. She had to be. I had never had a little sister named Nanami to begin with. I got it now. This had to be it. So that how this one works is he just sees through it this time. After ignoring her and heading back into my room, I sat down on the sofa. Once again, I took hold of my Serotan figure and gripped her tight. So tight, in fact, that my hand hurt slightly. But it didn't matter because the pain, too, was a delusion.
お兄、どうしたの？元気ないじゃん。
Everything in this world made up of delusions. Delusions developed only within my mind. Both me and this delusion I was looking at were fake.
徹夜でゲームでもやってたの？もっと人間らしい生活したら？
Mm-hmm.
え、なになに？
黙れ。
ちょっと、そんな言い方しなくてもいいじゃん。お兄だからって何言っても許されるとか思ってる？
黙れよ。妄想妹が。
妄想？
I don't like how the camera pans like that. It feels weird. I surrendered my body to the sofa and looked up at the ceiling with no particular goal in mind to start counting the rusty spots. I didn't want to look at Nanami. I'd only felt empty if I did. Well, not that I cared about whether I felt empty or not, given I was just a delusionary existence.
ねえお兄、本当に平気？いつもと全然様子が違うけど。
It's complicated. Worrying about me like a good little sister, huh? My delusional sister was worried about me. That fact alone filled me with anger. Besides, who was she to have come into my room like she owned the place?
あ、わかった。お腹空いたんでしょう。
I gritted my teeth.
だったら、ナナが何か作ろうか？
どれ？
ん？鳥って言った？鶏肉？
No one said a thing about takeout.
鶏肉だと、やっぱ唐揚げかな。でも、一人で作ったことないし。あ、別に、お兄のリクエストがあったから作るわけじゃないからね。 ナナも今日は鶏肉で何か作りたいなって思ってただけだよ。
You know what? If anything, that would convince me that she's fake, because she's feeling too tropey right now. This Nanami is really annoying. The fact that she was so similar to the real one wasn't something I could ignore. Wait, did a real Nanami even exist in the first place? Then what was this Nanami? The real Nanami? My head became a mess. So I stopped thinking. Didn't care anymore. At the end of the day, everything was a delusion.
包帯取れ。取ってみろ、ボケが。
包帯って、ああ、これ転んで打撲しただけだし。
Just fall? Was it true or was she lying? I would know if she took it off.
ほんと、わがままなお兄だな。じゃあ約束してよ。ナナが包帯取ってみせたら、お兄も元気出すって。
The sound of rustling clothes rang throughout the quiet room, followed by a ringing in my ears. My head hurt. These two were delusions, though, so I paid them no mind.
はい。これで満足？って、ちょっとお兄、わざわざ取ったんだから、ちゃんと見てよ。
I sluggishly lowered my gaze. Nanami had rolled up her uniform sleeve, and she was now striking her right hand out toward me, and when I looked at her slender arm, I saw... Oh no. Oh, this is different. Whose eyes are those eyes? Oh no! Blood, dripping blood, bloody words had been cut into her arm, and they said...
その目、誰の目？
This is nightmare. My vision flashed, and when it had passed, just like that, the horrifying wound on her arm was gone. I'd been hyperventilating, so I moved to catch my breath, forcefully bit my lip. Nanami was rubbing the arm she had taken the bandage off of.
青あざ、だいぶ消えてくれたな。最初はすごく腫れてたんだよ。
Again, I can't help but reflect. So he's got these delusionary existences, and it just reminds me. I'm gonna say it again because it keeps coming to mind. But in the Buffy the Vampire series, there's a great enemy called the First Evil, which is a creature that is supposedly as old as the world, or as existence, reality. And whilst it persuades and invites is enticing, and it has interesting information to knowledge, specifically of the dead, and it can appear as anybody who has died. It's not tangible or physical. It can't physically affect the world. And one of the best ways you can know whether it's there or not is if you try to touch it, or if you notice it can't touch or pick up anything in the world. And part of me almost wonders if some of these delusions would be like that. Like if you actually reached out and tried to grab Nanami's hand right now, would it just phase out? Would it not be real? Now these delusions do tend to be pseudo real, so it probably wouldn't work like that. But it just feels like she's not touching anything, and it's sticking out to me. I didn't know whether that was the truth or not. Sure, there wasn't a wound there, but there had been before. I didn't understand anything anymore. I didn't want to think anymore. I once again laid my head down on the sofa.
ねえ。ナナミ。
Without meeting her eyes, I called out to my sister, or the girl whose identity I wasn't sure of.
お前が本物でも偽物でもどっちでもいいよ。
Right now, I only wanted one thing.
僕を殺してくれないか。
Aww. Alright, so I don't understand. I got the finale now. How is this supposed to be different at this point? How is the story supposed to become, a different branch? It feels like it's just going down the exact same path. Did I just mess this up? I mean, we're at the end, so what's gonna happen? I mean, it's all going the same. Yeah, here we are again. Okay, so what was supposed to be different? How did I mess this up? Gosh darn it, I really wanted to do it blind, but I might have to do like a guide to figure out what I did wrong. I'll wait and see for the end of the credits. I mean, the fact it's not skipping through the credits is something, but I'll see what I can do. Alright. So, I've taken a cursory glance at it. and it looks like it's so specific that unless you get the right combinations, you just don't get an ending besides the natural one. So I just literally goofed that all up. Like, I think that I'm guessing that it's just gonna kick me back to the main screen, and it's literally like none of it mattered. All my choices that I made reached the Silent Sky ending. Yeah, that's the standard ending. Gosh darn it. So it's just that specific. So I'm gonna do that again, and this time we're gonna have to go through like a guide because otherwise I'm gonna be here forever. How did anyone figure this out? So upon reading, they have a recommended ending order. I'm gonna kind of ignore it besides this first one. But it says recommended order is ending A, which is Silent Sky. Then there's B, which is just an alternative to A. And then it has like the recommended people. I'm gonna do B, and then I'm gonna choose to showcase. There's 6 of them. Maybe I'll showcase 2, maybe 3, and then we'll do the true ending. So I'll have to work on the others in the behind the scenes, but yeah. Yeah, the crazy things, you have the yes and no's. And as a general rule, it says in order to reach a character route, you must enter a specific delusion for each character and answer its subsequent prompts correctly. So, yeah. We'll have to see.
僕は引きこもりじゃ。
Alright, so I'm following the guide. I hate it, but I don't want to be here forever. So I'll tell you, we'll watch any scenes getting to the guide that I haven't already watched. But this first one we have to do neutral. So this is the first time we're not doing a delusion at this first scene. I shut it. I'm not taking some offense of Misumi-kun's choice of words. Almost snapped back at him, but I quickly decided against it. I was considered the possibility that he might get upset at me. So I just bit my lip, turned away, and when I did, I noticed that there was something written on the blackboard. At first, I didn't really care enough to read what was written there. My mind only registered the fact that something was written there, and not what it was. But the longer I gazed at it, the more I realized something was wrong. Was it whose eyes are those eyes? Before I knew it, I got out of my chair.
ちょっとどいて。
おい、どうしたんだよ。
Yeah, there it is. Whose eyes are those eyes? I pushed Misumi-kun aside and rushed over to the blackboard. The instant I realized what it said, I felt my heart stop. Whose eyes are those eyes? Those were the words I said to myself whenever I felt God's gaze. I'd never said them out loud before. I hadn't told anyone about them either. Not even Misumi-kun, and I didn't matter how often I used it. There's no way anyone in this class could know about that phrase. So who? Why? How? I quickly turned around and scanned the room. The only person paying any attention to me was Misumi-kun. The rest were talking to their friends, reading manga despite manga being against the rules, or sleeping on their desks. Then who had written it, and when? Oh, just a coincidence. Okay, so there's choices here. It says here that, says the rule, it talks about how like you have to do yes, no in the right order to trigger certain endings. But it says here, like, this route's a sole exception to the rule mentioned before. Rather than simply selecting a certain delusion and answering the prompts correctly, it requires a number of specific delusions to be viewed. So you start a game, view at least 10 of the following 18 delusions, skip any route questions prompted you might encounter along the way by giving only yes answers to avoid the bad ending in Chapter 6 by answering those correctly. So I can avoid triggering, like, the questions. Oh, okay, here. Yeah, so this can trigger, so this specific delusion, if I do the right combo here, it can trigger one of the routes. Okay, I see how it is. So some of the delusions I'm guessing that it looks like they're mostly chapter 1. You like get to one of these, like, so I got to those ones that were triggered, and I had to answer them the right way to get to an ending. So the reason why I never got an ending is that I didn't answer any of them correctly. I was trying to answer them certain ways, but I missed it. I must have barely missed one of them, though, because I'm pretty sure I know which one I was going to. Yeah, okay. I get how the system works now. I'm sad that I had to find out this way because I like it more when I can stumble upon it, but with it being such a specific sequence, it's odd because it feels so hard to stumble into randomly. But I guess this is also built at a time when people were like diehard fans of the series and they wanted people to dig and to find it out and kind of coordinate as a community, which is really fun. Okay, so I can avoid accidentally triggering any endings when trying to get to this like B ending by just hitting yes to all of these. But I'm going to read them all as we go through. Okay. Just a coincidence? Yes. I'm making it up. It's all in my head. Yes. The NewGen killer somewhere in the school. Yes. Whoever wrote this is trying to provoke me. I should definitely erase it. Yes. Had it been there the whole time, since before I'd even entered the classroom? Couldn't remember. Wasn't like I ever paid any attention to the blackboard anyway.
なあ、どうしたんだ?
Misumi-kun walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder, and gave me a good shake.
聞いてる? おーい、タク!
It didn't matter who'd written it. It had been a coincidence. It must have just been a common phrase or something. Was it just a stupid, pointless scribble? Yeah, that had to be it. Alright. Tried to convince myself of that, but it's still freaking me out. I still had no clue who'd written it. I have to ask everyone in the class to figure that out, and I didn't have anywhere near that kind of courage. Immediately after I thought that, homeroom began and the teacher came into the room. His eyes immediately zeroed in on the words written on the board, and with a quick, "Come on, who wrote this?" he grabbed the eraser and wiped them all away. Alright. For some reason, I was still a little creeped out, but I tried to just carry on like always. If I let myself get any more scared, I'd probably start thinking that something was deliberately targeting me. But that was ridiculous. It was just a coincidence. In the end, I had to keep telling myself that until school was over. When it finally was, I headed toward my usual internet cafe. Alright, let's get moving. Alright, so we got round 3 for this one. I'm going to do the opposite where you don't have any delusion, so... In business, you prefer email or phone calls. Hearing's ear. Someone gazed. You felt someone's gaze and turned around. See an object supposedly stationary. Move for an instant. Branch premonition. Looking at digital clock, you see the same numbers declared sequence. You already cried once this month. You can, yeah. Yeah, okay. Gonna head on to houses. You start to read a book. You become so immersed, you lose track of time. This is God. Like yawning what other people do. Okay, for none. Wait, so let me stop. I want to go to tips list. Where is diagnosis? Okay. You are not delusional in the slightest. Your personality may be a bit too pragmatic. You may lead you a very fulfilling life. You're adapted to socializing. You have many friends. You've had many romantic relationships. And you're doing very well in school. You're most likely living a life in which delusions aren't necessary. I cannot possibly understand why someone like you would want to play a game like this. Please continue to live your happy, fulfilling life in the three-dimensional world. I'm sure that there are many fun, exciting things ahead of you. A word from Misumi. Whenever you see someone grinning because they've got some delusion running through their head, don't call them a freak. Instead, treat them like a friend. If you do that, chicks will dig you because they'll know you're a nice guy and you'll be even more likable. I love that. Like, I don't know why someone like you would want to play a game like this. It's like, you have your life together. Why are you playing a visual novel? That's so sad. Oh, man. I have my life together, and I enjoy visual novels. Thank you very much. I get out and do stuff all the time. Okay. Here we go. So now we're at another delusion, but this is on the chart. So now we do a positive one, which I feel like I have seen. Yep. Oh gosh. This is another one. Hi, Nerd Heart. We do a positive one here. Alright, here's another one. Dang it, this is not the time. That's a positive. Right, that's the one where we remember her name. Yeah, I remember that one sticking out to me a lot. There were only 5 calls on the list. Okay, that's another one. That means being negative. This is like the weird phone call with the music. Alright, here's another one. In a small private room, there's only one way out, blocked by Yua. I do neutral, which I have. I definitely did this one too. That was. Oh, I didn't? What do I do? What should I do? I tried desperately to think of a way out of this situation, but it was no use. I couldn't think clearly. And I will say this. So I've noticed up till now, whenever we've done of the ones it's having me choose here, I am noticing a trend. The trend is that these are the ones that give some of the strongest hints to what's going on. The Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes, seeing it well before it was being posted anywhere else. There was the scene where we remember Rimi's name out of the blue. There's just times where we're noticing odd things that are happening that are most sticking out. So it's like, to get to this route B, it involves us being, I think, as a character, Takumi's being the most aware of the circumstances. There's even a cool thing that happens where, I guess I'd missed it, where Ayase, when she approaches us in the hallway and she talks to us, she tells us to get a sword. And so when he goes to the store to pick one up, instead of just reflecting on maybe I should get a sword, she probably said something about it. It actually showed the flashback of that, which was interesting. So here we're doing that again, and it's odd here because I could have sworn I did the neutral route here because I would have been really stressed, but maybe I'd committed to doing a different one, and so I chose to do a different one here. But yeah, anyway, tried to desperately think of a way out of the situation, but it was no use. I couldn't think clearly. She had taken me completely by surprise. My mind had gone completely blank.
昨日あなたの家に行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。夜まで待ってたんですけど。
Huh.
でも私を避けようとする西条くんの気持ちはよくわかります。
Okay.
私西条くんのこと騙してたわけだし。
If you acknowledge that, then just stay away from me. I have nothing to say to any of Shogun's underlings. Anyone who traps a weak person like me is a demon. Yua looked down once. She looked like she was hesitating to say something. But then, after a moment, she very clearly said a single phrase.
その目、誰の目?
There it is.
知ってますよね。知らないなんて言わせません。ヴァンパイアのダイイングメッセージです。ネットで公表されたことで、渋谷で大流行中の言葉。でも私、流行る前から知ってました。
You knew about it, huh?
ヴァンパイアより前に、この言葉を使っている人がいたから。
Oh, yeah.
将軍。
Shogun.
前に見せましたよね。ナイトハルト。西条くんと将軍のチャットログ。
Yep, there it is.
そこで将軍が書き込んでました。その目、誰の目って。そして。
Yua inched her face closer and closer to mine. Her tone of voice was calm, but the eyes shining behind her glasses were ice cold. She was staring at me. I looked away.
将軍はあなた。つまり。
The other words, what?
お願いです、西条くん。もう。
Treasure yourself in. Alright, moving on again. The police. This one needs to be a negative one. Was Fez wearing her school uniform? Fez is standing right beside me. Fez is also standing on the stairs right in front of me. Oh, interesting. I think in the beginning I talked about how knee-high socks are the best or something, and it went to a sequence right at the beginning. It was it's where do you like glasses or not? What kind of swimming suit do you prefer? And asked you if I like knee-high socks. I think I said yes to that this time, and maybe that's why instead of standing here in her underwear, she's standing here dressed up, because it was this idea of oh, showing, like, just showing skin isn't what's most important. It's what's most important is, like, the way that they carry themselves. Okay. Two of the same person in the same place. Completely and utterly flustered, I relentlessly snapped back and forth between the two fezzes over and over again, comparing them. They were exactly the same, right down to their facial features, height, and hairstyles. The only differences were their clothes and whether or not they were carrying a sword. They weren't twins or anything like that, and they didn't just look alike. They were one and the same. I'll skip through this because it's clearly the same, it's just she's in a different outfit. Well, she's in an outfit this time. Alright, so this is the triple dots exclamation is the negative one that we need. Gossipy. Vision suddenly went pitch black. I felt something push against my eyes. What the heck? I feel like I did see this one. No fetching way. Could this be the legendary Who Is It game? Legend stated only exists within the world of 2D, yet this is the classic line. Could it be? Could well truly be. I never thought I'd ever experience it in my lifetime. As of right now, I basically won the game of life. Of course, I immediately knew the answer. After all, I was trained in the art of working out the voice actor just by hearing the anime character talk. But saying it's obviously you, Rimi, would be pretty embarrassing. How should I answer? What was that?
どう？答えわからない？
There was someone there. I could sense the presence of someone other than Rimi. Since my vision was obscured, my hearing was particularly sensitive, and it's the wheelchair. Interesting. In the location where we were now, somebody other than Rimi and I was there. And there was sound of creaking metal. Oh gosh.
その目誰の目？
Oh boy. Yeah, see, okay, so I don't know if I said this. I'm gonna repeat it in case. So, like, the other thing I've noticed is that it's almost every delusion is sending me down. The phrase "whose eyes are those eyes" is coming up. Like the delusions that it's having have like odd instances of interruption or "whose eyes are those eyes." Like that phrase being strongly committed to us. My body was instantly seized by fear. I tried to shake off Rimi's hand, but she held it firmly.
ちょっとちょっと、ちゃんと答え言ってよ。ずるしちゃダメなんだから。
This was weird. Something was very wrong here. Why was she acting so carefree? Hadn't she noticed it? Or was she just pretending not to? I couldn't stand the fear of not being able to see what was going on, so I grabbed the delicate hands covering my eyes and ripped them away.
タク？
Rimi fought back even harder. As a result, we ended up wrestling a bit with each other, and Rimi collided with my back. I felt the soft sensation of her bulging chest. Of course you did. But now it wasn't the time to rejoice in that fact.
離せ！
I somehow managed to shove Rimi's hand aside and jump away, then turn back toward her.
どこだ？将軍はどこに？
The only thing I saw was Rimi standing there with a bewildered look. I looked around the area, trying to find the wheelchair. But there was nothing, absolutely nothing.
いない。そんな。
I couldn't see him anywhere, not in the large sports courts, not by the entrance. There wasn't a single sign of an old man riding in a wheelchair.
タク、ごめん。びっくりさせちゃった。
Rimi looked very apologetic. It didn't seem like an act either.
今、いなかった。
何が？
車椅子の老人が。
Rimi tilted her head.
いないよ。私は見てない。その人と一緒だったの？
違う。そうじゃなくて。そうじゃなくて。
I became less and less confident in my assumption, even though I was so sure I'd heard those things. That sound of a wheelchair creaking, Shogun's chuckle, it was like he was mocking me. And whose eyes are those eyes? Had I hallucinated it? Was I really that anxious? That was probably it. It was probably nothing more than that.
大丈夫だよ。
Rimi smiled at me, except it felt forced this time.
私が一緒に帰ってあげるから。怖がらないで。ね。
Alright. Relief flooded through me from her words. Then, guiding along by Rimi, we headed towards the school gate. Alright, here's another one. Discouraged, I hung up the phone to wrap my arms around myself. We need a positive one here. Rimi! It was as if my prayers had been answered, like the cries of my heart had been heard. Rimi really did always appear whenever I was in trouble. She opened the door and leapt into my room.
Rimi, 助けて。
Rimi looked straight at me, then quickly examined our surroundings. Immediately realizing the source of the terror was my PC, she began typing on the keyboard with an angry expression. Ooh, shut your mouth, stupid. Leave Taku alone or I'll kick
こ
your
ういう
butt.
時はきつく言った方がいいよ。
Rimi looked back at me and smiled gently.
こう言っておけば案外あっさり引き下がるでしょ。
Was that really how it worked? Rimi was only that reckless because she didn't know about the internet. Being that blunt would only make the other person madder. And here, the other person was Shogun. As I stared at the monitor with bated breath, Shogun sent yet another message. You're dead. Shogun left the room. The room went silent. What the hell? I knew it. I really had pissed him off. The tone of his last message was very clearly different.
どうせ口だけだよ、口だけ。
Oh, Rimi.
まさかここに直接押しかけてくるなんてことはないって。それよりタク、大丈夫だった？ごめんね、電話くれたでしょ。ちょうどこっちに向かってるところだったから出られなかった。さっきの地震の後、タクが心配になってここまで全力疾走してきたんだ。
Aww.
来てよかった。
While I was listening to Rimi's voice, I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor. His message had left me deeply unsettled. You're dead.
なんてこと。
私が来たから、もう平気だよ。何の心配もないから。
なんてことしてくれたんだよ。殺される。あいつに殺される。早く逃げないと。
落ち着いて。殺されなんてしないよ。タクの考えすぎ。
Oh, that expression changed. Whoa. Suddenly, Rimi went silent, her eyebrows furrowed, and she looked up at the ceiling.
どうしたの？
Is Shogun talking to her? Oh, interesting.
その目、
Oh, there it is again.
誰の目？
Her voice was soft murmur. Suddenly, Rumi's face contorted, and she grabbed her head with both hands.
頭、急に痛くなってきた。痛い。そう。
Unable to endure the pain anymore, Rimi fell to the floor as she was shaking her head madly.
なんで急に。
Don't tell me. My gaze shot toward the ceiling. No, not the ceiling, toward the sky, beyond the ceiling, toward the artificial satellite that might or might not exist. It was Shogun attacking? Dang, this is crazy. Ooh. A drop of blood fell from Rimi's nose. Suddenly, her half moans, half screams ceased. Rimi's body shook violently as she staggered, and then she dropped to the floor head first. Holy crap.
Rimi.
There was no answer. She didn't even twitch. He'd killed her, using a satellite, using EM waves. Shogun had killed Rimi. How'd that been so quiet? He'd killed Rimi with neither sound nor smell, without even a hint of his presence. It'd been way too quiet, but that only made it even more terrifying. There was no escape. I kneeled before the floor and shook Rimi's shoulder.
ねえ、起きてよ。Rimi。
There was no escape. No matter where I went on Earth, there would be no escape.
僕を置いていかないでよ。
Wherever I would try to flee, Shogun would be able to attack from high above in the sky.
こんなの妄想に決まってる。
Ow. Oh, when I returned to my senses, I was still in front of the monitor. The answer Rimi had written earlier had vanished. But so that one, it was a bad ending. It wasn't real, but it had the whose eyes are those eyes line. Again, it's like highlighting each. It's like we have to hit each as many of these as we can. And Shogun, your dad, had too. I looked back toward the rest of the room, and Rimi's body was nowhere to be found. I felt relieved that Rimi wasn't actually dead, but I was disappointed that she hadn't shown up. Why? Why wasn't she here yet? I was absolutely terrified. I needed her now more than ever. Alright. Alright, why were they fixated on me, Esper Boy? What the heck was that about? Okay, this is the next one. We're doing neutral here. Yeah, here, see? Whose eyes are those eyes? Whose eyes are those eyes? There's the sword. Oh, yeah, see, there, I got the achievement. Whose eyes are those eyes? Found all the whose eyes are those eyes. Are those. Sound like fans cheering from bleachers in a soccer game. The entirety of the DQNs had gathered at Scramble Crossing and all begun chanting in unison. Maybe this was a planned part of the event, or maybe Shogun had mind-controlled them into doing it. They all followed the same rhyme as they raised their hands overhead and shouted the same words. They were all insane. I was horrified. The chant wasn't stopping. In the midst of their chant, I could hear the high-pitched voices of female DQNs. As I listened closely, I noted the one thing they all had in common: they were all making fun of me. To them, they were just having fun and laughing to their heart's content. Everything was fine as long as they were having fun. At a festival dedicated to my sacrifice, a true crap show. All I wanted to do was join in, make fun of myself the way everyone else was. Every last one of them was a DQN. Nobody would be coming to my rescue. Everyone who'd been coming here wishing for my death. Crowd psychology was gonna kill me. Not out of hatred or fury, but simply because it was what everyone else wanted to see. Alright, now I gotta get through this, like, lovely decision. Okay. So we're at chapter 7, and I'm gonna stop us here. It's not great, but, like, we've kind of gone for a while. I'm running out of time for this recording. And I guess we can give, like, we can get to the end of this, because we're pretty close, and we'll get to the ending there. It feels awkward. I think we'll just end it here. Because I can get this B ending, and if it's relatively short, we can launch into one of my chosen endings. And if it's long, then I won't have cheapened it by trying to rush it, because I'm just running out of time. It's just another one of those factors of life where I'm like, I've just run out of time to record. I apologize, because unfortunately I've sent us down a rabbit hole by just kind of trying to do it blind, where I couldn't really get to what I wanted, which is a little sad, but I guess it would have made it a bit more interesting to dig into if you were playing it casually, because you could try and discover the endings on your own, or like through trial and error, like saving and like making like key points. I imagine that was the intention of the game, but for something like this where I'm trying to showcase and doing like an entertainment amount of like content, it just doesn't quite work as well. So I'm happy I tried to do it blind. This is definitely one of those games where I probably should have just used the guide, because then we wouldn't have had so many episodes where nothing was really happening. For like the past 4 of them, I'm guessing. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end here, just because I don't want to be trying to rush this. I want to enjoy whatever the new changes are, and then we can dive into like starting the next ending as we go. And that's the thing too, is like maybe these endings are really, really short, so maybe I'm overestimating how branching the story really gets. I'm not really sure what to expect in that regard, but we'll have to see. But I'd say for sure next time, since I'm using the guide, we'll get to this like B ending, and then we'll start one of my selected routes, and I'll see how, like, I want to see how long the first route is before I decide how many of them I'm going to cover. Because like we're doing this B route and we're doing the true ending for sure. And besides that, there's like 5 or 6 other routes, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's 6. So I'm doing 2 other endings, and there's 6 possibilities. So that makes me think I'm either going to do 2 or 3. I feel like 3 might be too much because I'm doing also the B route and the final route like on top of that. But I also feel like I want to do 3, so we'll see how it goes. But regardless of that, I'll wrestle with all that later. I just don't want you feeling like you wasted your time. I'm really sorry about that if that's the case, but I worry that this hasn't been as interesting as it could have been, and unfortunately a lot of that was because I was trying to avoid spoilers, which is something I never regret, but it's also, it leads to situations like this, and so, oh well. I suppose next episode I'll be able to be a bit more open about like, hey, I figured out how to get the endings, and so we should be able to kind of get the excitement back for the series, because then I'm not waffling around just looking at like little side like things that I missed that could happen up until this point. So yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your patience. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, even if it's definitely wonky. I'm not sure how it's probably short too, because it's a lot of skipping I was doing. But I still think it's as much as I can manage with the time I have. So again, real life kind of bears its teeth sometimes, and there's not really anything I can do about that. But we'll do more of this later. Thank you all so much for being here today. It means the world to me that you spend your time here and that you're willing to share these stories with me. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you thought about this episode, and especially the episodes when we're actually doing like the other routes. I'm really excited to show you what I think and to see what you think as well. So I appreciate you. You're wonderful. I don't deserve you, but I'm really grateful for you, especially the members and patrons. You're so wonderful. I owe you guys something special. I guess we got August patron cast that should be coming up, so I'll do something really fun for that. My guess is that I will be sharing more stuff from my vacation. I need to be careful what I share because a good example, because I elect to put myself on the internet, but my family doesn't. I'm not going to be sharing any pictures of my family because, I respect their privacy. It's one thing to post them on like a Facebook page or something because you're sharing that with people you connect with in your little circles, but this goes out to just general public. I just want to be careful about that, but I would like to share more about that trip and just talk about like some of the meaningful things that happened and like the thoughts that I had. And I kind of got inspired to really sink my teeth into a particular project. I want to write it out and I want to see if I can actually get something published. I know I've said that before, but it kind of really sparked in me being like, the only thing holding yourself back is you. I've got some good ideas. I think they're worthwhile. They're worth at least putting out there. So I'm going to just throw my hat into the ring and do the best I can. And I really want to try and get a script going. And I want the patrons to hold me accountable. So that's going to be a new thing I'm going to announce kind of like for the Patreon, which I'll probably do like a short, like a true announcement once I get the first couple posts of it up. But once I'm really showing myself and showing you that I can keep that commitment, I am going to plan to basically invite the patrons and the channel members to be basically like super beta readers, like gamma readers, I guess, to look at my super rough drafts and my concepts and maybe give me tips and ideas, since what I'm going to be doing is going to be really different from any other project I've tried. So anyway, enough about that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. I look forward to talking to you all. Until the next video, watch the be up and see me in next. I'll see you there.